ASL 2201, Interpreting Practice. Greg Gunderson is from Brandon, southeast South Dakota. He is the son of Gayleen and Keith Gunderson. He's from a racing family. His grandfather, Dwayne Doyle Dirksen, also known as Dewey, won numerous titles and awards from the 1950s to the 1970s. Greg's father, Keith, was a successful drag racer. His uncle, Guy, and several cousins were also racers. Number 39 was the number Greg used until last year. This number was his grandfather's number. Greg was born deaf. Keith couldn't sign, and Gayleen used home signs. But when they realized he was deaf, they arranged for a deaf cousin named Mark to move in so he could have immediate access to ASL. He attended South Dakota School for the Deaf and also Whittier Junior High, and he graduated from Brandon Valley High School in 1986 and then went on to Gallaudet University, where he graduated in 1991. He currently works at the ASL lab at Augustana College in Sioux Falls. Greg and his wife, Krista, have two daughters, Hannah, who is deaf in one ear, and Camille, who is hearing. He entered his first race, snowmobiling, when he was 6 years old. He continued snowmobiling, took on ATVs and motorcycles, and then started car racing when he was 17. That was in 1985, about 30 years ago. He's now celebrating 30 years of racing. He says, "I have raced hobby stock, modified cars, late models, sprint cars, and micro sprint cars. Many years in sprint cars, and the last 4 years in micro sprint cars." He's juggled his racing passion with work and family. Hannah was born in 1997. He says, "I raced in 1997, but didn't race in 1998 and 1999. I went back to racing in 2000. He then took a long break from racing to focus on his family and professional obligations. He's quoted as saying, "I didn't race sprint cars from 2001 to 2005, just ATVs. In 2002, I finished third in the point standings in the ATV 400 oval and 400 TT classes. I was the heaviest in 2005, just ATVs. In 2002, I finished third in the point standings in the ATV 400 oval and 400 TT classes. I was the heaviest and oldest rider in those two classes. The reason I stopped car racing is because of my second daughter, Camille, who was born on May 4th, 2001. My job also became very high demand when I worked at CSD, Communication Service for the Deaf. I didn't have time to go racing. Racing is really a full-time job." One day, just after his 38th birthday, with racing days looking small in the rear-view mirror, Greg saw a message that interested him. He clicked on the words that said, "Driver Wanted." He was taken to a website for an upcoming reality TV show. The show would be called Racin' for a Livin', and it would feature 15 rookie drivers and 5 veterans. There would be numerous off-track tests, 10 races. Each week, another driver would be eliminated. You know how the reality show thing works. But the most important thing, the thing that jolted Greg, is that the winner would get the chance to qualify for 7 Busch Series races. He looked at that for a long time. Then he entered. Why not? He filled out the questionnaire. He was told that more than 3,400 other dreamers entered too. And since then, according to the show's creator, Jerry, more than 10,000 have applied. But one night at midnight, he checked his email and found that he was one of 50 rookies chosen for the final vote. He wanted to scream, but he couldn't. He wanted to tell his wife, but she was asleep. So he sat there, his heart thumping through his chest, and he did not sleep all night. He thought for a long time about his life was going to change. Greg began by emailing everyone he knew in the deaf community. He gave interviews to anyone he could find. He told reporters that he would break barriers. He would open doors for more than 25 million Americans who have hearing loss. Most of all, he promised that he would drive fast. He has talked with the show's producer about technology that will help him overcome his one major obstacle, communicating with the pit crew. The show's producer suggests that they could use a series of flashing lights on the car, or perhaps words coming across a visor. As far as the driving goes, Greg has always felt sure. He was quoted in saying, "In some way, I have an advantage over hearing drivers. I have very sensitive feeling, and so I've saved many engines because I can feel the vibrations. I can tell when there's too much stress on the engine. Also, because of my heightened sense of feeling, I usually can find the quickest way around the track quicker than someone who can hear. At most of my races, you usually found the other drivers following my line." The end.